Well, I was going to ask the question, have you ever felt like you don't belong? But that's a dumb question because the answer is obviously yes. Everybody's felt like we don't belong. Some of us probably feel like we don't even belong right here, right now, as we sit in this room. We're like, why am I here? But you're here, so thank you. I remember getting invited to like parties and hangouts and sleepovers and things like that. Sorry, I remember not getting invited to these things. Yeah. In my mind, I remember getting invited, but in reality, I didn't. I was pretty weird, and as you can see, a lot's changed since then. But I remember like hearing about those things later, you know what I'm talking about? Like you see them on social media, or you overhear your friends talking about them, and they're like, that hangout was so tight last weekend, and you're like, what? And all your friends went to hang out without you, and you're like, I thought we were friends. Guess we're not. You know what I'm saying? Have you ever been in that pickle before? I know what it's like to be excluded from the lobby, to be excluded from the group chat, to be excluded from the friend group, and even what it's like to be excluded from the church crowd. They're like, you don't fit in with the church crowd. You ain't no pastor. You know how often I get that? I tell people I'm a pastor, and they're like, really though? I'm like, yes. Run circles around you theologically. Come on. But no, I don't. I stay humble. So, but if you're like me, you probably have felt like this. Like, in order to get invited, I have to be impressive. Like, you've got to be impressive to get invited. And it seems like the people who are in and who climb this social ladder of popularity and notoriety or whatever the case might be, like, they're impressive. They're fun to be around. People want to be around them. They're funny. They're athletic. They're talented. They can sing or play an instrument, or like they're artistic, or they're good at sports, or like whatever the case might be. And it's like, I don't have that. You gotta be impressive to get invited. And you're like, well, I don't get invited, so I must not be very impressive. That's how I always felt. I guess I'm not good enough. I guess I'm not smart enough or funny enough. I guess people don't like me. Maybe I'm ugly. I don't know. I started thinking all these things, and your mind always like jumps to the worst. And just before all of you guys go all like, I know where you're going with this, Ren, you're gonna go like, Jesus loves me, this I know. And you're gonna say like, he loves me just how I am, and like all this stuff, like just old busted, ratchet, janky old me. I know what you're gonna say, Ren. Like, even if you only have one follower on Instagram is gonna be Jesus. Like, he's my #1 fan. I know, even if no one else leaves me, like he's still right by my side. And to you, I just say, sit down and be humble, because don't project what you think I'm gonna say about Jesus onto Jesus' word. Because we're gonna get into Jesus' word in just a second. So let's listen to what he says, and just forget what you think I'm gonna say, what you think God's gonna say, and let's just hear. Let's just listen, because I want us to know something, and this hit me as I was preparing, that Jesus doesn't invite us into his presence, into his fellowship with him, in spite of our unimpressiveness. It's like, yes, I fall short, yes, I'm busted, yes, I'm a sinner, I've made mistakes, I've said, thought horrible things, and in spite of all that, Jesus loves me. I mean, yeah, that's true, but it's not just that. He invites us into his presence because we are unimpressive, because you're broken. He wants to be in your presence. Like he wants to be in that. And that's what a lot of us we don't understand. It's hard to wrap your mind around that. It's like he doesn't just like, he's like, okay, like I know you have all this baggage, but I'll accept you anyway. It's like, I know you have all this baggage and I want it. I want to heal it, I want to redeem it. I want glory to be to God's name whenever a person with baggage and brokenness and sin and shame and a past and regret comes to know saving faith in Jesus over and over and over and over again. So he demonstrates that by telling us this story, and it's a parable, so you're gonna have to just kind of use your brain cells to think about like who's who in the story and what it represents and all that stuff. But y'all got this, you're very smart. So it's in Luke 14, we should all be there by now, right? Luke 14, verse 16 and 17, it says this. This is Jesus talking, so listen up, because Luke was close to Jesus and he just wrote down what Jesus was saying. And Jesus says, a certain man was preparing this great banquet, and he invited many guests. Are you invited to the banquet? Yeah. So this is how he begins the story. He says, at the time of the banquet, This guy, he sent his servants to go tell those people who have been invited, come on, everything's ready. It's 7 p.m., we got the chips and the dip, we got the crab legs out, and everything, like, come on, banquet's ready. All right? But there's this problem, verse 18. Everybody that was invited started making excuses. The first one said, I got a lot of other things going on. I have money, you see, and I just spent it on something. I came from rags to riches, and I just bought this field, and I gotta go see it. So he says, please excuse me. Very polite. Wait, decline the invitation. Y'all ever been invited to the presence of the master and just made an excuse, decline the invitation? Another one said this, I just bought this Xbox One, I just got 5 games for it, 5 yoke of oxen, right? He's like, I gotta go try it out. I gotta go play this. It's gonna be amazing. I can't wait. So if you would, it's kind of more important than this right now. I've been to the banquet before, I know what the banquet's like, I'm very familiar with the banquet, but this is new. Please excuse me. And then another one said, I just got this boyfriend, I just got this girlfriend, and it's fresh, it's new, exciting, I want to invest time into the relationship. I already got a relationship with God, I already got a relationship with you and all the people who are going to be at this banquet. If you would please excuse me, I got some investing to do somewhere else. So these are all excuses, right? These people who were invited to the banquet to have this encounter, this fellowship, this moment, they make excuses and they're gonna miss out. But do these excuses sound like some that maybe our friends have made? Have you ever invited somebody to church or like to student ministry, like Legacy? And there's some excuses like this that tend to happen, right? Have you ever made some excuses like this before? Has it been for one of these reasons or something like it that, or it's like homework, or I don't know, the list goes on, but there's sports and all these things, like, you don't show up, you miss an encounter, you miss some fellowship because of it. I just wonder, look what happens next. Verse 21. The servant, he comes back and he says to his master, he's like, everybody was busy, they had other stuff going on. They couldn't make it. So what does the master do? Does he reschedule? Does he go and beg these people? He's like, no, come, we'll work around your schedule, we'll do what it takes to get you here. What do we need to do? No. The owner of the house, he gets frustrated, he gets agitated, he gets angry. And he orders his servant to go out. He's like, go quick. He's like, don't even mess around. Just go quickly into the streets and the alleys of the town and bring in the people who are poor and crippled and blind and lame. Bring in these people. He invited people that no one would expect would be there. You look at this banquet, it's kind of a high up thing, and you know the type of people who would be at the banquet, right? It's like, I know the type of people who go to these banquets. And they're not like me. They're not like me. But you see this, he wanted something. He wanted a certain type of people there. He wanted them at the banquet because they were hungry. If the people he had invited initially were hungry, they would have come, wouldn't they? But it's like they lost their hunger. It's like they lost it. And I don't want us to miss this either. A lot of us sit at a banquet every single week. We sit at a banquet every single week, but we're not hungry. We're missing something. And so a lot of us, we're not inviting others because we're caught up in these details and this gossip and this drama and these other things that are going on, or maybe things about the Bible, or these dynamics are like, he's there, she's there, I don't want to be around her, she said this, and it's like this whole mess. But is that really what's important right now? We're talking about the Son of God, who was fully God, fully man, came to earth, lived the perfect life that you could not, died the death that you deserve, rose again 3 days later, defeating death, and just said, if you believe in me, you'll spend eternity in paradise with me. But if you don't, well, I hope you do. That's the most important thing that's going on right now. It's like the cure to the most terrible disease on the planet ever. You got the cure, and you're going to sit here and talk about, oh, they're kind of weird, so nah. Is that what you're going to say whenever you're in the presence of God someday? It's like, why didn't you this? They were weird? Okay. A lot of us have become callous, we've become comfortable, we've become cold, and it's almost even selfish. And some of us, it's without even knowing it. And I just want you to know, the master is angered. He's frustrated by that. Do you celebrate sitting next to somebody, this is metaphorical, or maybe even literal, who's poor or crippled or blind or lame? If you come into this banquet on a Tuesday night and someone sat next to you or who's so different that you would never associate with otherwise, is that a good thing? Or are you like, oh, awkward? Because I think it's something worth celebrating. And I think Jesus thought so too. Do you invite them? Think of the people that you wouldn't invite, you wouldn't talk to, you wouldn't associate with, you wouldn't spend time with. They're poor, they're crippled, they're lame, they're different. That's gross, that's weird, that's this, that's that. Do you know that the greatest proof that Jesus was real, that he really was who he says he was, the Son of God, is by the way that we love one another? When it makes no sense, whenever there's no reason that you should be talking to her, whenever there's no rational reason whatsoever that you would ever be in the same place at the same time as that person, but the only reason is Jesus. He's bigger than any other reason you could ever throw out, because he's bigger than any other thing. There's this verse in Luke 7:47. You can just write it down, but it's Jesus. He encounters this woman with a sinful reputation. Everybody knew her as a sinner. Everybody knew her as dirty. You saw her, you just knew she's that person. She's that girl, right? And Jesus says, I tell you, her sins, and they are many, they've been forgiven. So she has shown much love. She's been forgiven much, so she loves much. She says, but a person who is forgiven little shows little love. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to be guilty of showing little love. I don't want to miss it. I don't want to miss it. The end of the story goes like this. We're in the Great Banquet, Luke 14. Remember what's going on. Verse 22, Sir, the servant said, what you ordered has been done. And I like that because it's like there's no excuses whenever he goes to invite. He's like, go and invite all these people that you would never talk to, that you would never pay any mind to otherwise. He's like, there's crippled people, the blind people, these lame people, these big people, small people, gay people, straight people, people of different size, shape, and color than you. He's like, just go talk to them, just go invite them. There's a banquet happening, and they're hungry, they need to come on, they need to come and eat. Dude didn't be like, ooh, that's weird. Dude didn't be like, oh, well, this. He's like, okay, he said, what you ordered has been done. He just did it. He didn't ask no questions. He didn't make any excuses. But then look, there's a bigger problem. There's another problem, right? He said, there's still room. If you just turn around, look at the back of this room. There's still room, isn't there? There's still room here. Some of y'all are doing a great job. I just want y'all to know. Y'all are doing amazing. I look across this room, I'm like, there's people here who are here because someone invited you, and that's amazing. And y'all are doing amazing. There's even some people here that y'all invite people like crazy. They'll bring a new friend every other week and stuff. I'm like, woo, way to go, keep it up. And that's awesome, but there's still room. There's still room. So the master, he tells his servant, verse 23, he's like, all right, there's still room in here. Go even further. Go out to the roads and the country lanes and compel them to come. Give them a reason to come. Convince them to come. Jesus Christ is here. He's alive. He died for you. Come on. There's fellowship. There's people who want to grow in that. There's people who want to learn that. There's people who want to know. He's like, so, and this is the reason why, so that my house will be full. Verse 24, I tell you, not one of those people who got invited are going to get a taste of my banquet. Whenever there's this diversity and it's all God's people singing together, praising Jesus all at the same time, he's like, they're going to miss it. It's not a punishment. It's just a fact. They weren't there. You make excuses, you miss it. You miss the beauty of the transformation and the unity that is in Jesus Christ. If you make excuses, you're going to miss it. He's like, that's just a fact. They're missing out. And you can be here and still miss out too, by the way, just like the prodigal son. But these people we're talking about tonight, they'll come. They just need to know they're invited. So many people don't even know they're invited. I was just having a conversation yesterday, and it was 27 middle schoolers at Huddle Middle School who want to know Jesus, who they want a community, and they don't have a church home, and they don't know where to go. And I was just like, dang, that's just how many I know about. And that's just one school in their area. How many people are hungry? They just don't even know they're invited yet. Some of us, we have no idea what it would mean for you to talk to somebody. What it would mean for you to there's someone younger, there's someone different, there's someone lonely, there's someone that everyone makes fun of, there's someone who has just got to have a hard life, maybe few friends, and it's easy to pass by, right? And what would it mean for you to acknowledge their existence, let alone invite them to something that you are a part of? A lot of us don't think we carry that power, but man, you don't do. Y'all are special, you're amazing, you're beautiful people inside and out. And for you, there's someone who looks up to you. I promise you, there's someone that would be meaningful and special. Who is it? Who is it? Think of 5. Write them down. And then do it this week. Just do it. And see what happens. I'm talking about like, dude, I'm not even in Huddle Middle School, and I know about these. I can't invite them because that's weird. I'm old and everything. I can't, like, what am I going to do? Like, kid, come on. Like, no, but y'all can. Y'all can. Here's the deal. At Jesus, the bottom line for tonight, we're going to go to break. At Jesus' party, there's always room for more. At Jesus' party, there's always room for more, and Jesus wants a full house. And I just want y'all to remember something. I'm not like being hard on people who are faithful, and you guys who are coming every single week. Y'all are doing outstanding. You're growing in your faith, your knowledge, your understanding, your depth in your relationship with the Lord. Praise God for that. His invitation is for you too. You're accepting it, keep doing that. His invitation is for other people also. It's for everyone. His invitation is for everyone. And I don't want to be someone who misses the party. I want to be someone who grows so comfortable and so callous and so cold and just gets like, and just misses it. Because there's something bigger going on. There's something big going on. I don't want to miss it. I want to extend the invitation to the party. And I just want y'all to know that no matter who you are, no matter what you've done, you belong here. You belong here. And I want to encourage you to take it seriously, and I'll say it again. Write 5 people down. Take it, note in your phone, set a reminder for yourself, whatever you've got to do, and invite them to last Tuesday. The last Tuesday of this month, January, we're going to talk about our last parable, our last story of Jesus, and we're going to finish this series, The Storyteller, and it's going to be good. There's going to be pizza, there's going to be Jesus, there's going to be all of us. And we're all going to do a fantastic job of you to see somebody new, making them feel welcome, loved, and included. Because that's what Jesus does for each and every one of us.